This
Migration
conference will
project.
now be recorded.
We finished discussing about migration project. So we could not able to complete the recognition of customer to business partner activity in the ECC system, right? So we'll discuss that, and we'll also discuss new implementation project in S4HANA, which we also call it as adoption project. So new implementation project in S4HANA is called as adoption project. So why this project is called as adoption project? Because in S4HANA, whatever is there in the SAP, customer has to adopt. It's not like in the ECC where we first take the customer requirement and then we find a solution for customer requirement in the SAP system. It's quite opposite now in S4HANA. That is, SAP has already given every functionality and customer has to decide how that functionality will fit into their business. So that's the reason this new implementation project in S4HANA is called as either adoption project or fit to standard. Okay, this is called as fit to standard. So we'll discuss in detail how this works. So new implementation project. The option is for both the existing customer and new legacy customer for both. So as we discussed in the last session, migration project or conversion project is only for existing SAP customers. Doesn't matter any version it is, but it is for existing SAP customers. And the deployment option is only on-premise. But new implementation project is for already existing SAP customers. Either they want to completely redesign their system or they want to go for cloud, because cloud option is available only in the new implementation. We don't have new implementation project. So new implementation project is for already existing SAP customers who want to get into cloud, or for any legacy customers, that means newly they want to implement SAP and they have both the deployment options. One is on-premise and the other one is cloud, any deployment choice. Right? So whether on-premise or whether it is cloud, there are a couple of things common between these. That is methodology what we use. Okay, for a new implementation project, whether it is cloud or whether it is on-premise, the methodology what we use, the best practices, and guided configuration is only for cloud edition. Guided configuration is not for on-premise, but the other two is for both, like new implementation and as well as migration as well. So now as we have two deployment options, one is on-premise and one is cloud. So one additional thing what we see here is, you see whether it's a new implementation or system conversion landscape, these are common. Okay, the best practices are common, the methodology what we use, everything is common between on-premise and cloud. But on the cloud, we have something called as, on the cloud something we have, that is guided configuration. Again, under the guided configuration, we have a couple of activities. Okay, so first, let us see what is the major difference of clouds and different kinds of clouds we have and what are they. So now, as in the new implementation, we have an option for the cloud. When it comes to the cloud, there are various options in the cloud, like public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. So what are they? You can see here the conversions and deployment options. In the conversion and deployment options, you could see if you are going for a cloud, there is public cloud. So what is public cloud? Public cloud is you are getting service from private vendors like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, So here, what you do is we just buy the application as a service, or this is also called as SaaS model, software as a service. That means you are not owning any resource here. You are not owning the hardware, or you are not owning the other resources. Only thing is you just buying the subscription and you are using it, so that it will be very much cheaper comparing to the other methodology, whatever we have. So this SaaS model, which is offered by this particular private vendors like Amazon Web Service or Microsoft Azure, is also by SaaS model, and they're much cheaper when it comparing to the SAP or the other deployment options. So this is public cloud. Then we have private cloud. Private cloud is offered exclusively by SAP itself, and this is called as HEC, that is HANA Enterprise Cloud. SAP is a service for cloud is called as SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud or HEC. This service is provided by SAP directly themselves, and this is also cloud, just like what we have discussed about public cloud, but this service you are getting directly from SAP itself. This is also on the SaaS model. So nothing is owned by you. You are just buying a subscription and you are using it. Then we have hybrid cloud. So what is hybrid cloud? So as we know, SAP has lots of cloud modules today, right? We have Ariba, we have SuccessFactors, Fieldglass, Concur, right? Many modules are there. So your ERP deployment can be on-premise. Okay, your ERP can be on-premise, and as you know, this all cloud modules, maybe it could be Ariba, maybe it could be SuccessFactors, it could be Fieldglass, it could be Concur, it could be Hybris. These all are earlier different companies, different applications. They are not developed by SAP. SAP has acquired them, right? SAP has acquired them, but they are not SAP's product. So SAP has acquired them, and now they are SAP products. Like Ariba is called as SAP Ariba, SuccessFactors is called as SAP SuccessFactors, right? So as there are different companies or different products earlier, their data structures, programs, comparing to the SAP's data structures, programs, and everything, which is different. But now what is S4HANA? They want to bring everything into one landscape, right? ERP, new dimensional modules, industry specific modules, technical modules, everything, even cloud modules also they want to bring into the one landscape. So now you could seamlessly integrate between these all cloud modules of SAP with your ERP. This is hybrid cloud. That means your ERP can be on-premise, but your other applications can be cloud. Right. So this is hybrid cloud. So there are various clouds like this in the cloud option, that is public, private, and hybrid. So when you're going for a cloud, like what kind of customers can go for cloud? It could be SMEs, small, medium enterprises, or even the big companies also could go for cloud. But the companies which really feel the data security and all things, they don't go for cloud. They will be only for on-premise. But what is the major difference? What makes the difference, or what is the major difference between an on-premise or a cloud version? So let us see. So if you are going for a cloud, what all you are getting in a cloud? Best practices are available for cloud, right? And the rest everything is available on the cloud. Which is such as Ariba, SuccessFactors. There are many things are available on the cloud which you can integrate. But what is more you are getting on the cloud, that is, with the cloud edition, customers can view all ready to run business processes in detail and decide how they fit into their business. So what in the cloud, you don't have much of customizing options. You need to check what's there in SAP and decide how they are going to fit with your business. That's it. You don't get customizing options. So in light customization is possible, but core cannot be changed. Okay, only light customization is possible, but the cores cannot be changed. Right? That means you cannot write your own logic of credit management, how it has to check the credit. Or you cannot write your own program, how the output has to be issued. You have to accept what's there in the SAP by default. That is on the cloud. And also, you cannot get much of functionalities on the cloud because when I say cloud, it's a shared one, right? So in a server, let's say there are 4 clients, and the cloud. Why cloud is cheaper? Because you are sharing the resources among with other users as well. If it is on-premise, all the servers, the resource, everything is only for your company and yours. But when it is on the cloud, you are sharing your resources with others, clients. So that's the reason cloud version is cheaper. But if your activity or some functionality should not impact the other users, right? That is the reason in the cloud you have very much restrictions because your requirement should not affect the other users on the shared server, right? That is the reason only a light customization is possible, but you cannot change the core and all the functionalities SAP has provided, and you just check the functionalities and try to adapt that into your business. But on the other hand, if you go for on-premise, if you go for on-premise, then yeah. So when you go for on-premise, unlike cloud edition, the on-premise edition allows for more customizations, and that includes changes to the core processes as well. The resource is owned by you, so you can do anything, right? No restriction on that. So, unlike this particular cloud edition, on-premise, you'll have more control and you can also change the core itself as well. You can write your own logic for credit management. You can have your own customization for revenue accounts, how it should be determined. Okay. So this all can be happened in the on-premise. So when you're going for cloud, as I told you, there is something called as guided configuration, right? On the cloud, we have something called as guided configuration. So what is that guided configuration is all about? What is sales area? Anyone? What is sales area?
Combination of sales automation, distribution channel, and design.
Yeah, why can't it be combination of distribution channel, division, and sales organization? Same combinations, right? But the order is rearranged. Can it be like that? Can sales area be distribution channel first, division second, and third is sales? Or can it be like that?
No.
Right. So that's a guided configuration. Okay, if it is a sales area, it has to be sales line plus division. Sales line plus division, then only it is a sales area. What is sales line? Sales org plus distribution channel plus division. That makes up the sales area. So that's a graded configuration. That means that's where you have to follow. If I say, why can't it be distribution channel, sales org plus division? No one is stopping you. We could do that way as well. But that's not the right way, right? Because if it is a sales area, it should be always sales line plus division. Right? So guided configuration will put you in the right way, what to do. Let's take account determination. What all the modules uses account determination? Anyone? Revenue account determination. Is it only used by SD? Revenue account determination is used by FI, SD, COPA, right? It's not only by SD. In S4 HANA, let's say if you are doing through Fiori, if you are doing this revenue account determination through Fiori, that means cloud. The first step system asks is select application area, and it will not even show you the next steps or how many number of other steps are there to do. It will first ask you application area, so you need to select in which area you are doing this revenue account, whether SD or MM or FI or COPA. Let's say if I select SD, then system slowly slides step 1, and even you don't know that there is next steps are there or not. Once you finish this step, then only system slides the next step. You cannot overlook these two and go directly to the step 2. You can't even see that there is step 2 in the system until you finish these two things. That is guided configuration. You cannot overlook the configurations. You cannot do it as you need, right? So this is on the cloud. See, if it is on premise, we have SPRO to access IMG and you can do configurations, right? But what if on the cloud, do we have transaction bar on the cloud to run SPRO? On the Fiori, do we have SPRO? No. There is no transaction bar, right? There is no transaction bar means there is no SPRO. You cannot run the SPRO, right? If you are seeing SPRO on the cloud, that is on the browser, that is HTML for GUI. That is not Fiori. Okay, be clear with this. SPRO is possible. If you want, I can also make it and show you. I hope we already done that. You remember in the Fiori session, we added this particular transaction bar. Anyone you remember? In the Fiori session,
Yes, sir.
we added a transaction bar, and we can access any transaction. I have run a couple of transactions like OVZ9. SPR also you can run. Any transaction you can run, but that is not Fiori. Fiori is only on cloud. That is not Fiori. If you are seeing a transaction bar on cloud, that is called as HTML for GUI, but not Fiori. Okay, that's a HTML for GUI. So in the projects or somewhere, if you're seeing this transaction bar on the Fiori menu or Fiori screen, that means it's a HTML for GUIs, right? Okay. So we don't do that config. So that means on the cloud, we don't have SPRO. Okay, we don't have SPRO on the cloud. Then how do we do the configurations? So where do we do the configurations? We should have some dashboard for configuration, right? Like IMG. So where do we do that? That is called as guided configuration. Okay, that is guided configuration. It looks like this, something. Sorry. Even for this particular, even for configuration also, there is a dashboard like this app on the Fiori, that is S4HANA Cloud guided configuration. So guided configuration is where consultants will do the configurations if it's a cloud version. Okay, just like SPRO on the cloud, it's called as guided configuration. And within the guided configuration, what more are there? Let us see. So within the guided configuration, you could see this is applicable only for the cloud. This is applicable for cloud only, right? And what's there in the guided configuration? You could see both are cloud only. The first one is self-service configuration. Let's say you need some new development. What you do? Anyone? What is the approach for a new development? Who will do the new development? In the SAP system, you need some enhancement, some development. Who will do that?
ABAP.
Okay. So how do you communicate to ABAP?
First, we'll have to understand the business requirement.
Right?
And
FS
What is
document.
the process that we
FS document.
FS document.
Right. Yeah. So you try to get the requirement from the customer and then you write an FS document and give it to the developer. That is the communication, right? And that's how you get anything you need to get done. That is like the development or enhancement that you could do it. But in the cloud, we just discussed it, right? Light customization is possible. Forget about development. We cannot do any development. Only customization is possible, right? On the cloud, there is no development. So again, here on the cloud, we have two tools called as self-service configuration. This is where as a consultant, we can do configuration. The configurations and customizations, whatever you are allowed to do on the cloud, that is self-service configuration under the guided configuration. But there is also something called as expert configuration. What is this expert configuration? This expert configuration will be with SAP directly themselves. Okay, it will be with SAP itself. We will not have access to this expert configuration. This particular access will be with SAP itself. You need some enhancement or you need some development or new functionality. You need to write a FS and requirement document to SAP itself. And SAP will go through that and SAP itself will provision if it is feasible. If this functionality is like having an issue with other users in the shared server, then SAP can deny it. Or if it is feasible, SAP can provision it, then SAP themselves will provision it with expert configuration. The expert configuration will be directly with SAP itself, and you need to write an FS to SAP itself to get that functionality. But as a consultant, self-service configuration, this is what we'll be having to do the customizations and configurations. So that is guided configuration. You cannot ignore and go ahead to the next step or other steps until you finish the sequence of steps. That's a guided configuration. So this is in the cloud. So when it comes to on-premise, or if it is cloud, okay, on-premise or cloud, doesn't matter what deployment you are going for, you get best practices, and that is done under the Activate. Okay, whether it's a cloud or on-premise, both Activate and best practices are common. But I will discuss, right? This guided configuration is only for cloud. And what methodology we are using for implementing of S/4HANA projects? That is agile methodology. Okay, agile methodology, which is we call it as Activate methodology in SAP. So let's see what is the difference between ASAP methodology and Activate methodology. So in the ECC, we are using ASAP methodology for implementation, right? ASAP methodology for implementation of projects. But in S/4HANA, we are not using ASAP methodology for implementation of S/4HANA projects. Instead of that, we are using something here called as Activate methodology. Okay, in S/4HANA, we use Activate methodology for implementation of S/4HANA projects. And Activate methodology comes with 4 phases. The ASAP methodology is of 5 phases, right? Activate methodology is of 4 phases. And what are the 4 phases? Prepare, explore, realize, and deploy. These 4 phases are again aligned with 2 other phases anyway, but they are not counted into this particular Activate methodology. But so in the ECC, the ASAP methodology, there are 5 phases like a preparation phase, BBP phase, realization phase, final prep, and go live. But here it is prepare, explore, realize, and deploy. So what is the major difference and why SAP has come up with this particular Activate methodology? Because the SAP methodology is pretty old and proven methodology, but why we are ignoring that and going with the Activate methodology? Activate methodology. What is the total tenure of a project in the ECC? Anyone? A normal project, what is the total tenure?
9 months.
Right? It could be between 9 to 18 months, so depending upon the project, right? Domestic could be 9 months, but MNC project could be 18 months. You see this 18 months timeline with 5 phases, SAP methodology. Out of this 18 months, where we are spending lots of time or more time,
BBP.
Realization.
so you see, out of this 18 months project, 3 plus 6 months, total 9 months we are spending only in these 2 phases, right? And what is the outcome of this outcome of this phase? Anyone? What is the outcome of BBP phase?
BBP.
A BBP document, right? Only a BBP document is the outcome. Can customer see anything or feel anything of his business processes? Anyone? At this phase, after completion of this phase, can customer exactly know how the requirements can be in system or anything? Nothing, right?
No,
We are,
no.
we are spending 9 months, that is half of the project time and budget, and we are just handovering to the customer a piece of document saying that, take, this is your BBP document. That means this is your requirements. If you are okay, give me sign off so that we'll move to the next phase. And in the next phase, once we start, we will not change anything. We will not accept any new things or we will not change the existing things, right? Anything to be added or deleted, it can be done only in the later go live, after go live. SAP methodology works on waterfall model. Okay, SAP methodology works on waterfall model. We spend very good time of 6 months to gather the client requirements, and we prepare a BBP document, and we finalize and give it to the customer and ask for sign off. And we say that once sign off, we will not either accept or change any requirements. So it's waterfall model. So water once fall down, never goes back. That means once we take the requirement and we freeze, we are not going to change it. So it's on the waterfall model. But do you think this kind of approach will work in today's world, where everything is dynamic, new technologies every day? Will this approach work? Customer, after spending 9 months of time and money, customer will wait furthermore to see how the system or functions? Not possible. And this is not a right approach as well, because you cannot keep customer waiting for so long without showing how the system works. Because even after 9 months here, we are just giving a piece of document to them saying that this is your requirement. Give us sign off. Then we'll start configuring in the system. So that's not a right approach. So that's the reason this SAP methodology will not work in today's world, because today everything is agile. You don't know next moment what happens, right? So that kind of case, this will not work. So that's the reason SAP has come up with something called as Activate methodology, which works on agile model. Okay. So in this agile model, what happens? You can take project in sprints. Okay, there will be a Scrum board, and you take project in sprints, and you could fulfill the client requirements, and client also knows what's happening. So if you are on Scrum, this is how it would be. This is a little pain for consultants, but for product owners and for the projects, this is very better, because you get a very latest updates on the project. But for consultants, it's a big pain. Every day you will have a Scrum call, and yesterday cannot be the same as today cannot be the same as yesterday. Every Scrum meeting, there should be something new, and every day you'll have a meeting, 3 hours, 4 hours. So Scrum methodology goes like this. There is a product owner, that is nothing but our BPO. You have a Scrum Master liaising between the product owner and the team. So product owner will tell the features, functionalities, what they need, and decide on the release dates and everything. Prioritize the features, can change features, and this is the biggest pain. Accept or reject. He can also reject the work after the Scrum call. Scrum Master ensures liaising between the product owner and the team to smoothly function the project and put every resource under utilization. Then team, the consultants. So cross-functional, like you could see, selects the iteration goal and you can give the budget, the timeline and everything. Organizes itself in works, has a right to do everything to reach the iteration goal. Demo works to the product owner. Once demo to the product owner, project owner can either accept or reject, right? So a typical sprint, how it works. So a typical sprint works like this. Product owner gets an idea about some functionality. They need some functionality, maybe free goods 1+1. They need to offer 1+2. They got an product owner got the requirement. So pass on. Then we start the Scrum Master and we start a sprint. We will have a Scrum board where we write how this was going to work and everything. And you work on this. And as I told you, the daily Scrum call will be there and daily updates you will be giving on what's happening on this requirement. And once it's done, review by the product owner and retrospective. That means product owner now can accept this requirement or can reject it. Anything it could be. Right. So project now is taken in sprints. So this requirement is done. Day-to-day flow of Scrum project. This requirement is done. If it is okay, then they'll push into live. So you don't need to wait the whole 9 months to see the output. Okay. If it is in the ECP, if you are going with ASAP methodology, can I know how the third party works or cash sales work without going live? Anyone? Without go live, can I know how third party is working in my system? How
No,
cash
no,
sales is working in my system? Or if I
no.
create a sales order, whether it is blocking for upload or not? No, right? Only when you put into the go live, then only user can see a fully functional system, right? That means we have to wait the whole tenure to see a live project. But using this particular agile, you'll take the project in sprints and you can have multiple go lives, so that you don't keep customer waiting for entire tenure. You first go live with whatever is there in the basics and you can start adding the features and functionalities. Customer can start using the system as well. Okay. So let's now see what is the major difference between Activate and the ASAP methodology. So I'll write it down here, like the phases, how they work. Maybe here itself, let's write it. If it is ASAP methodology, we have project preparation phase. Then we have BBP phase. This is for ASAP. Then we have project realization phase. Then we have final prep, and we have go live. These are the 5 phases, right? Now, when it comes to the Activate methodology, we have 4 phases, and this is how the 4 phases would be. So what is the major difference between this agile model of using for SAP project Activate and this is, as I told you, if you're going with SAP, customer don't know how a functionality works in the system. We are telling that, okay, it is possible. You want 1+1 free goods? Yes, it is possible in the system. I'm taking your requirement. Let me document it. And we'll document saying that, okay, like customer want 1+1 free goods. Done. That's it. Where to configure, what to configure, that we just put it in the document. But when it comes to S4HANA, when customer buy a license, SAP provides a trial system to the customer so that customer can explore and experience how SAP works. Then customer starts uh, experiencing the system, the consultant help of consultant. You could see the faces here. Experience the cloud trial, start with a model company, prepare, explore. What is gap? Anyone? What is gap? Gap in SAP. What is a gap?
The solution that is not required in the provided SAP.
Not available. It's not required. The functionality which is not available in the SAP is called as gap. But today, with gap has a different meaning. Okay. Today, the gap is different meaning. That is, whatever customer requirement, we call it as a gap, because what is today's approach? It is fit to standard, right? Run fit gap analysis. It is fit to standard. That means when you're creating an order, will system block this order by default for authorization? Anyone? In the SAP, if you create a sales order, will it automatically block for authorization or for approval? No, right? But if you want this functionality, then let's say customer want this functionality. That is, if order is created, the order should be blocked for approval, and only on the approval or authorization system should allow to proceed with the delivery. Do we have any functionality for this? Status profile.
Status profile.
Right? Status profile. So in standard, this is not available. In the standard means this status profile has to be configured and activated. Then an order will be blocked for approval. But in standard, system will allow you to create an order, then delivery and everything, right? But okay, customer want to experience how the process works, like order, delivery, and billing. And at the time of order, customer says that whenever we create an order, the order should be blocked for approval. Now this is a customer requirement, right? You take this and do the fit gap analysis, whether it's available in the standard or not. If it is available, then configure it, do everything and deploy it. That means today, the requirements of customer itself is a gap. Why? What we have discussed, fit to run or fit to standard, right? Fit to standard. In ECC, what we do is we have BBP, and the contents of BBP is as is and to be. So what we are trying to do? First, we are trying to understand how customer is functioning now without SAP. Okay. First, we take the customer requirement and we try to find out customer requirement, and then we find a solution for customer requirement in SAP. Okay. If customer says that I want 1+1 free goods. Okay, first we are taking customer requirement. Customer saying that I want 1+1 free goods. With your knowledge, consulting knowledge, experience, you tell, okay, this is possible, and you write it here in the SAP saying that yes, 1+1 is possible because free goods in SAP is always 1:1 ratio. You just give a write-up, right? That means first you take the customer requirement and you're trying to find a solution in SAP. If you don't find a solution in SAP, you say that it is a gap, right? But now the approach in S4HANA is SAP itself has given you functionality. Okay. Now business has to check what is there in SAP and adapt it to their business. Quite opposite, right? SAP has already provided you every functionality. First, get used to the system, go through the cloud trial, experience the system, and adapt to the, why we are calling as adaptation project? For this reason, because you adapt what's there in SAP into your business, right? So when you are adapting the same requirement, whatever is available, that means there is no gap at all, right? There is, you are not trying to find out any solution with any functionality which is not available in the SAP. You are only accepting what is there in SAP. So that means there is no question of gap itself. First thing. So what is gap today? The gap is customer requirement itself is a gap. Okay. And we are trying to achieve that in the SAP system. So how do we know more about this particular, like what activities we do in every phase and everything? So this document is a extracted version of this SAP methodology, because we have a certification also for Activate methodology. AH100 is certification for Activate methodology for project managers. So this particular document talks about every phase and what activity key deliverables of every phase. Okay, prepare phase, what we do, what is the key deliverables here. So everything it talks here, this is extracted version, this is enough for us actually. But if anyone is planning something more than this, or A1, the certification or something, what you could do is, or you want to know more in detail, like how this Activate functions, then what you can do is just Google it actually. Just Google it for something called as Roadmap Weaver. SAP is Roadmap Weaver. This one, SAP Roadmap Weaver. This one. Okay. The first link you will be seeing, obviously. Just click on this Roadmap Weaver. Just say access anonymously and explore all roadmaps. And we have options here, cloud, on-premise, upgrade methodology. You see, now we are upgrading from S4HANA to S4HANA, 1610 to 2021, even a new kind of projects now we have. So I'll go with on-premise. Then here again, we have options. I want to go with Activate methodology for S4HANA. Click on content. Then you see all phases: discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy. And as you select some activity here, let's say you select prepare, on the right side it will open. Okay, on the right side it will open. It will also has a couple of accelerators. It will tell you everything, what activity in detail. You see lots and lots and lots of contents are available. So this is not much of useful for us as a functional, but this is useful for project managers and above level for planning the project and get better understanding. So as we have just seen, now in S4HANA, the BBP phase is nothing but explore. So if it is activate methodology, if it is activate, project preparation phase is preparation phase. BBP phase is nothing but prepare, explore, realization is realize, and the final prep or go live is deploy. These are the four phases we are seeing, right? BBP phase today is explore. What you are exploring? You are exploring what's there in the SAP system and try to adapt what's there in the SAP system. So when you are in this roadmap weaver, you can explore the complete activate methodology here. Okay, and if I select this explore, on the right side you see everything talks about, let me take prepare. On the right side, when you go to the explore, if you see everything talks about fit to standard, fit to standard, fit to standard, fit to standard, workshops, preparations, documentations, everything. Everything is fit to standard because the approach in S/4HANA is fit to standard. That means customer has to adopt what's there in SAP. It's not that you take the requirement of customer, then find a solution in SAP, and we don't create BBP. There is no BBP phase in S/4HANA, right? We don't create BBP documents. What we create in S/4HANA? BRD documents, business requirement document. In S/4HANA, there is no BBP phase or BBP document. We create BRD document. In the explore phase, we create BRD document, and that document would be of fit to standards, right? So this is more about the activate methodology, how we use in the S/4HANA. So you take the trial system, and let's say customer says, I want to experience cash sales, or I want to experience credit management, how it functions. Okay, sit, run the complete cycle of credit management until you block the transaction, you release the transaction, accounting entries and everything. In between, customer might get some requirement. Now take that and check whether you could achieve this in SAP or not. Okay, so customer has to accept how the credit manager works in the SAP system itself. They have to accept it. Okay, that is fit to standard or adoption. So this is about the activate. Then next, what we have, best practices. Okay, one more thing here. One more thing. So this activate methodology is new for everyone because S/4HANA project is introduced only in 2015. But until 2017-18, it is not much of no one knows about it. No one know how to implement a project because until now we are using SRF methodology. We know guidance, we have documentation, everything we have. But coming to S/4HANA, it's hardly 7 years old if you count it today. But just imagine if we are putting a project in 2016 version or 17 or 18 at least, right? If someone is working, he worked in 2018 project, it is 4 years, right? Or 3 years. We don't have much of resource, no documentation, no one is experienced how to work on activate methodology or Scrum. No one is experienced. So how do we get help? So how do we know how to perform the activities or take help and other things? So for that, what SAP has done is SAP has come up with some collaborative platform. Okay, it has come up with some cloud platform, which is also called as collaborative platform, where we could experience or share how the project works. You can share documents, you can share videos. So it's just like a social platform, a cloud platform. So how do we access that? That we access through SAP JAM. There is something called as SAP JAM. One moment. So what is this SAP JAM and how to get an access to SAP JAM? The complete process is also mentioned in the document. Let me show you. So yeah. If you are in the project, you have a SUID, you could get a direct authorization. If not, you can also have a guest access. So everyone, you could create a guest access by clicking on this link. You could create your own JAM ID. This is SAP JAM login. So this is the portal or platform what SAP has provided. That is SAP JAM for, you see, SAP Activate methodology for cloud or on-premise. Basing on your requirement, you could choose and you can see this discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy. So this is a platform for consultants or everyone in the project. Okay, so to share not only project, anyone like across the projects as well. So you can see here, you can ask a question, you can post something on the group wall, you can invite your colleagues and create a group, right? And there are many forums here. Actually, the forums has been now moved away out of Jam. The document section and everything has been moved away from the Jam. But you could experience everything here, or you could share, you could like there are people who upload the documents, there are subject matter experts here who will be answering your queries, right? So for the new implementation project, SAP has come up with some platform like this where you could experience or share, like what are, as I told you, they have moved away the community section here. If not, you would be seeing all the topics, answers, questions, documents, videos. You get many resources here, right? So just create an access of this particular jam and you can just experience what's there. So in the project, it's very helpful because there will be lots of like-minded and we will be having subject matter experts who would be answering your queries like this. You could see there are many questions someone would be posting and some people would be answering for these questions. This is just like our SCN what we have earlier, but SCN is confined only to the functionality issues. If you get some issue while functionality, then only SCN helps. This platform, SAP Jam, is exclusively only for implementation. Okay, new implementation of S4HANA, and to more explore about the Jam, that is Activate methodology. Okay. Then now the next thing is best practices. So that's what we have seen, right? What all we have? Activate, best practice, and guided configuration. We already discussed about the guided configuration. We discussed about activate, and what next? That's the best practices. So best practices are not new, right? Even in the ECC also we have best practices, but you know we keep ignoring the best practices in the ECC, and you are allowed to do that. You could ignore best practices. You can customize your systems even up to 95, 98%. But today, SAP recommends you to follow the best practice. And how do you know best practice? What is there in the new version, either by country, continent, you want to know? Because see, if you observe, the activate methodology is of more favor to the client side. Customer is getting lots of resource to experience how SAP works. They get a cloud trial, right? So they have lots of, there are many accelerators available. It's not just functionality oriented in the ECC. What the approach is only functionality. Customer need this, get it done. That's it. Customer, users, consultants, no one has been taken into consideration. But now, if you see, everyone has been taken into consideration. Fiori is for the users. To make everything simpler, you can see it is simple, right? For users, they don't need to memorize T codes, menu paths, nothing. At the same time, you take a customer. Customer get lots of resources to better understand how SAP works, what functionalities are there. We have accelerators, many things. Likewise, you see consultants as well, because applications are very much simplified now. So now everyone has, all the stakeholders in the project has been taken into consideration. So we have best practices where we have accelerators available. So we can access best practices even through SAP Jam, or we could also have a direct link as well. Somewhere it should be. When I scroll down somewhere, we should see best practices. You see, this is the active methodology, how it works actually. Continuous improvement. Customer can add even some requirement in between as well. Yeah, so SAP Best Practices Explorer. This is roadmap viewer, what I showed earlier. This is best practice. If you come to Jam, everything is at one place. You don't need to go with multiple links or something. Everything is here. The roadmap, we were what I showed earlier, the activate methodology, activates and everything, that is this one. And this is best practice. When you click on this, it will redirect you to the best practice website. Mm. Yeah, so once you are here, let's go for S4 HANA, the solution package. And I want to experience on-premise, or you can go with LOB, just a line of businesses. If it is on-premise, you could select this. That's the best practices for on-premise. And you have all the different solutions here. You could go to sales. In the sales, you have a contract or a sales standard. Let's say if I go for order and contract management, again, we have various functionalities here, like accelerated returns or customer consignment, customer returns. These codes are standard across the application. So even when you write the BRD in the index, when we mention this particular functionality, let's say credit memo, we'll write the same code. Okay, if it is a credit memo or customer returns, BDD, we'll write this. These codes are standard across the application, and the BRD also will mention with the same code. So let's say if I want to know customer returns more, let's say if I click on this, click on this, then it opens up. Just excuse me one moment, please.
When you're on mute.
Hello, am I audible, everyone? Can someone confirm
Yes,
this?
sir.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So you could see that process flow. So every process has this process flow diagram. Let's say this is a customer returns, right? Maybe we can check one more process. This access is even with the customer. This is not only for consultants. This access is there with the users as well. So we can pass on these accelerators to the user so that user will be knowing how this functionality works or how this process works. So you don't need to sit with them or explain or show it in the system, because at the high level, user will be easily knowing what user would be doing what activity and how this is going to perform. Okay, maybe some other activity, let's say free good processing. And we have process flow here. So keep process flow, just click on this. So it's not only for consultants, even users can also know that how the process works, which user create what transaction. So you could say free goods, internal sales rep creates a sales order, delivery, picking, packing, PGR, and create billing documents, sales order fulfillment, and accounts receivable. So it explains everything, and we can take this and give it to the customer. And even on the BRD document also, we write the same way. Let me show you one of my customers' BRD document sample. This part only the flowchart part I'll show you. You'll know how this looks like actually. So whatever is there now, the same thing we adapt into our BRD document as well. You see, this is client's BRD document. This is adapted to client. You could see this process in SAP is called as let's say cash sales or credit sales, just sales. But in the client business, they call it as credit sales, truck sales actually. Okay, so customer sales team, what activities happen. So what is there in SAP? The same thing we adapt and write the BRD document. The flowcharts also we adapt and just write it the same way. But as per the client requirement, here we have TM module as well. So we have integrated TM module here. Right. So this is how the accelerators work and will help customers to understand how the process works. At the same time, it also helps the consultants as well to get a high level idea how actually the process works. Right. So this is best practices. So how do we do cutover activity? So, okay, once configuration is done, everything is done. How do we do cutover activities in S4 HANA? The cutover activities in S4 HANA, we do it with the tools. We have cutover activity. Okay. In ECC, what tools we use for cutover activity? Anyone? In ECC, we use
We use
BDC,
LSMW for
LSMW, right?
LSMW. Yeah.
LSMW and BDC. That is the tools we use in ECC. But LSMW and BDC are still active in S4 HANA. They are active. But in S4 HANA, SAP provides two new tools called as LTMC, LTMOM. These are the two new tools which is available in S4 HANA. Legacy Transfer Migration Cockpit, Legacy Transfer Migration Object Modeler. SAP recommends to do cutover activity with these tools, and SAP don't recommend LSMW or BDC. Why? Because as you know that if it is LSMW or BDC, we create a Excel sheet with the headers, character length, field name, and everything, and give this Excel sheet to customer, so that customer can pull the data from their existing system in the same format, so we can upload the data into the SAP system. But now in S4 HANA, these templates are provided by SAP itself and called as migration objects. Customer master, there is a template. Material master, there is a template. Price master, there is a template. Or batch management data, or it could be open sales order, there is a template. So what we need to do? We need to download this migration object. When you download, it is source structure, because whatever SAP standard provided the fields, it may not be the same as my business requirement, or my business may have some Z fields. If I'm using the same source structure, whatever SAP provided, that may not be suitable to business because there might be a lot of unwanted fields, there might be a lot of mandatory fields, but or else in my business, I want to include some Z fields, right? So what you do is, first we download the template with LTMC and open that template with LTMOM, like migration object modeler, and we edit the template. That means what fields you should have, what fields not to have, what are mandatory, what are not mandatory, everything. And then you download a template here. This is called as target structure. You get source structure here, but we don't upload the same source structure. We download, we download with LTMC. When we edit the object migration object with LTMOM and LTMOM, we get the target structures. Then we upload target structures through again LTMC. Again through LTMC, we upload it. So today it's not possible for us to check the LTMC because it has been moved to Fiori. Earlier, until 2019 version, this LTMC and LTMOM, these are T codes. LTMC is a T code and LTMOM is a T code. Until 2019 version, you can access LTMC through GUI. you can access that as a T code, GUI. But now after 2020 version, this has been completely moved to Fiori. If you want to do data migration today, you have to do only through Fiori. You cannot do it through GUI. There is an app available called as data migration, and only through that app you have to do it, but that provision is not available for us in the Fiori. This LTMC, the data migration app provision is not available even today in the 2021 version also for us to practice, because you click that, the system says that contact SAP for this particular feature or functionality. Okay, so it's the servers, you don't get this functionality, right? But what I'll do is I'll upload a video of my old batch of LTMC, LTMOM, how we download, work on LTMOM, then again upload, and how the data we check at the database level, at the PP level we check the data. So that all I'll upload a video. You could check that how the LTMC, LTMOM is functional. But once after it is been moved to Fiori, we are not able to work on LTMC in the training systems. Right. So how do we do cutover activities? Do we have any tools? Yes, that is LTMC and LTMOM. Okay, you go through the video, so you'll be knowing how that particular works, right? So this is all about a new implementation project. So the migration objects would look like this, and in the document, in the Activate methodology, we have a link actually. So you should know first, like which migration object you have to choose. This will be with the same codes. It is also available in the system. You take that link and you could check here. Application area wise, you can check which is relevant for SD module. So what data we need to upload for SD module, you could check here. Application area, SD. Customer master is relevant, right? This is the migration objects. SAP, which SAP has provided. Then next, SD module. Where is SD module? Price master, conditions. Then next, sales orders, SD, but only open sales orders, right? So these are migration objects. This is the same objects you will be seeing in the LTMC as well. So you download the structure in the XML format, and you load that particular XML document to LTMOM, and you change the structures and everything, and download the target structures, and then you upload it, right? So that's how we do the cutover activities in S/4HANA. Right. So this is all about the new implementation project activities, JAM, best practices, guided configuration, and everything for us to understand. So this is for today. Any questions, please go ahead. If someone is planning for certification for project management, then there is AH100 certification code for Activate methodology. It's not that tough actually. If you can get DUMS, you could do that certification as well. Yeah, any questions, anyone, please? Okay, hopefully no questions. So we'll call it a day today. Catch up tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll continue with the output via BRF plus and the miscellaneous changes, whatever we have throughout the SAP, which is not documented in the simplification list. So these two we'll take up tomorrow. Right. So good day everyone, and catch up tomorrow. Bye bye.